Hey everyone, my name is Teague Haller and my feature film is called Through the Dark. It has a runtime of about 90 minutes. An alienated young man uses his father's old camcorder to try and uncover the deeper reason behind his sudden disappearance. With the sun shining brightly through the blinds, Desmond wakes up in his filthy apartment. Without bothering to check the time, he steps over dirty clothes and takeout boxes from various restaurants to get to his calendar hanging on the wall. He crosses off the date for the day with "Go Home" written on the box. Tiredly, Desmond throws on some clothes and starts to walk to the train station. On the train, Desmond gazes out the window and starts to see the last 10 years fly past his eyes as the train sped down the track. He couldn't help but feel a little bad for his family due to him not visiting, especially since his dad went missing the year before. Once Desmond arrives at the station, he immediately realizes how weird it felt to be back, especially since not a single thing about the town has changed other than it looking more run down and unkept since the day he ran away. Desmond continues to walk toward his house with leaves crumbling underneath his feet and is eventually greeted by his mom, who's sitting on the front porch of her house. She looks disappointed in her son, yet still couldn't help but feel happy for his return. The two reunite and Desmond eventually brings up his dad. Desmond's mom breaks into tears. After a couple minutes, she opens up and tells Desmond about how he had been acting strange the month leading up to his disappearance. Nobody knows where he went and he was never found. Despite the search parties and police involvement, he left without a warning and with zero trace. With Desmond's lack of empathy toward others, it leaves him puzzled more than anything, and with nothing else to do around the house, he begins to investigate for himself the cause of his dad's disappearance. Desmond Shaner is our protagonist and is 29 years old. He's a cisgender male and is Irish and Native American. He is a part of the working class and is constantly in and out of jobs due to his immature behavior and lengthy criminal record. Desmond has buzzed hair and wears mainly older, baggier clothes. He also walks with a small hunch and is pretty skinny. Desmond as a person feels worn out and tired with no motivation or inspiration. After many fights with his parents, he ran away from his family to start over in Chicago when he was only 17 years old. He's a kind person at heart, but doesn't really show that side with other people. Brett Shaner is Desmond's biological father and is 48 years old. He is Canadian and lived in the lower middle class, working at the town's bait and tackle shop. Brett developed a big drinking problem in response to the news that him and his wife Linda were going to have a son, which resulted in Brett not being the responsible parent that Desmond needed growing up. Brett ends up disappearing without a trace a year before Desmond returned home, causing his wife Linda to live on her own. Linda Shaner is Desmond's biological mom and is 47 years old. She is also Irish and Native American. As a result of giving birth to Desmond at an unexpected time in her life, she, like her husband Brett, now lives her life in the lower middle class by working full-time at the town's local grocery store, barely making enough to support herself and the family she once had. Linda has brown hair with strands of gray and in need of new clothes. She also smokes and has had drug problems in the past. As a person, Linda is drained, and as a result of her living alone, she spends her free time smoking and listening to music on her front porch while being sleep-deprived from her long hours at work. Her long hours of working caused her to not be able to see Desmond as often as she wanted. She misses her family deeply and has a German Shepherd to keep her company while she lives alone. Through the Dark takes place in Desmond's deserted hometown in rural Indiana, where his mom still lives to this day. Because of the town's super small population, there won't be more than 10 people in each shot at a time, and there won't be much traffic. His town is truly dead. Some locations inside the town that Through the Dark will take place in will be inside Desmond's mom's rundown house, in the woods surrounding the town, on residential streets throughout his neighborhood, as well as the town's downtown strip. The tone will be pretty dark and will be very ominous, as well as mysterious and thrilling. The little dialogue will create a sense of uneasiness for the viewer and will force them to figure out what's going on, along with Desmond, who is just as confused as we are on his ominous search for his dad. The underlying theme that slowly emerges is that you should always try to show others empathy, even if they didn't show it to you first. This can be seen as early as when Desmond makes the decision to search for his dad. It can also be seen while he grew up. His parents never really showed him any empathy, which left him doing the same thing to other people as he went into adulthood. Shot scales will feature mainly medium long shots and extreme long shots to show the disconnect that Desmond feels from being back home. In terms of framing and camera movement, there will be shots with a shallow depth of field to really get you involved with the characters, and other times with a deep depth of field to capture and show the importance of the setting. Camera movement will be minimal toward the beginning, which will consist of static shots. This will bring out Desmond's lack of interest and boredom in going back home, and they'll slowly increase in movement and shakiness shown by handheld shots as the story progresses to show the stress and urgency that Desmond feels on his search. The shots through the perspective of Desmond's dad's camcorder will have a grainy, gritty feel to them and will also alter the aspect ratio to 4:3. Most of the shots will be in gloomy weather or during the night, and night shots through the camcorder's perspective will be in the camcorder's night vision setting, which will heavily impact the color palette of the shots and turn them very green. Outside of the camcorder's perspective, the film will have a very crisp look to it, having slightly muted colors. Moody and higher contrast lighting will be used throughout the film to bring out the emotions Desmond and his mom are feeling. The oral environment will be realistic with many off-screen sounds coming from animals calling, wind rattling tree branches, as well as an occasional car passing by. Dialogue will stay audible from long distances to show how quiet Desmond's town is. Camcorder functions such as tape heads whirring, glitching tape sounds, and the menu selection beeps will be heard throughout the film, while Desmond navigates his town in search for his dad. Through the Dark will not have much music and in return will not have its own score. The only music heard will be licensed music and will play a big part in either setting the scene or building suspense and feelings of being anxious as to what happens next. Other times it will be used to provoke nostalgia. There will be many hard cuts to give the film a more raw feel, as well as L cuts and transitions between aspect ratios to show the camcorder's POV. Transition-wise, Through the Dark will be pretty bare bones and to the point. The genre of Through the Dark is a coming-of-age thriller with hints of found footage. The film starts slow in the beginning and gains momentum quickly toward the end, having a number of jump scares. The nostalgic setting of the film taking place in the early 2010s will also give it a coming-of-age feeling and means that it'll take place pre-COVID. The target audience will be directed toward people who like mysterious found footage movies as well as people who might feel similar emotions to Desmond's.